Hello everyone, let's go back to the class. Alright, so what happened to how to interpret this term? How do you interpret this term? Hello? Yes. Right. When P1 increased by 1 unit or by $1, how about Q1? What would be the effect on Q1? How Q1 responds to the increase, $1 increase by P1? And the reason why we use partial differentiation rather than the total differentiation is because Q1 is the function of P1, P2, and Y. So this is the Marshallian demand function, right? Do you remember this? With a fixed amount of money in your pocket and facing the market prices, right? So this is Marshallian, the Marshallian what? Demand function. And this is how the Marshallian demand curve responds. Actually, 1 unit increase in P and the response of Q, right? So it's Q1, P1. And we call this actually by the price effect. So you know it may be decomposed into 2 parts. Okay? And the first one would be the substitution effect, and the second one would be the substitution effect and the income effect. Okay? So how can we describe with math to say something about the substitution effect? The same Q1 and the same P1, but this would call conditional on. Conditional on the utility would be set on some fixed level. This is unconditioned, right? We do not condition this term by anything, but we condition this term using this. So the utility level will remain on U bar. Is that clear? Alright? And the final term. What would be the final term? The term looks like this. It's a negative sign. And Q1 star and partial Q1, partial Y. Okay? So partial Q1, partial P1, which means P2 and Y are held constant, right? We hold P2 and Y constant. But here, Q1 still is a function P1, P2, and Y. Now this time, we hold these two unchanged, and we just check the effect of the change in Y. Alright? But now, why we should do this, or first of all, let's interpret this term. What does it mean by this term? How about the effects of Q1 by 1 unit increase in Y? So if you got an extra dollar of income, if you got 1 more unit or 1 more dollar, you got 1 more dollar, and what happened to your quantity demanded, right, of Q1? So if this is, or if the good is normal good, if the good is normal, how would you expect the sign of this is positive or negative? Positive or negative? positive, right? So it would be positive if it is normal. The more income you have, the more quantity demanded you will want, right? And what about inferior? If this is an inferior good, then the sign would be negative, right? So the relation between income and quantity demanded would be inverse, would be negative. Okay? Alright, so this is the effect by $1. What about this? How can we explain this? How should we, or how can we interpret this term? Think about this. Initially, given P1, P2, and Y, initially, we have Q1 star, Q2 star as our optimal solution, right? This is the optimal choice given the environment. So this is the initial optimal solution or optimal bundle of consumption. Think about it. Now, P1 increases or rises by $1. So let's assume that commodity want to be, say, something like a beef noodle, and initially is $200 for a bowl of beef noodle. Now it becomes $201. What happened to you if you consume or if you go eat beef noodle, say 15 bowls in per month? If you have beef noodle, 15 bowls of beef noodle per month, what happened to you by the rise of P1 or the price of beef noodle? You will feel $15 cut, right? Your income will be cut by $15. Is that clear? Or let me give you another example. Say something about ice cream. If you like ice cream very much, and so if the price for ice cream like $20, and per month you eat, say, 100 ice cream, you're heavy lover of ice cream, so you take this many ice cream, okay? So now the price rises from 20 to 21. What happened to you? You will feel your income be cut by $100, right? Because you take this many ice cream. So for each is $1 more expensive, $1 higher. So your income is just as cut by $100. Is that clear? So this is something, when the price goes up, your real income will be cut by this amount. Alright? And this is the effect for each dollar. So the product of these two terms would be the income effect. So this is the income effect. Alright? Is this clear for everyone? Are you happy with this result? So actually, the very first time you look at the equation, when you see this equation, you will say, whoa, it's kind of scary. However, if you may interpret each term using the logic, the economic logic, then it would not be that difficult. Okay? Let me give you an extreme example. Say if I'm someone don't like ice cream at all, so I consume zero ice cream. Okay? I don't eat ice cream at all. How do you think the price change would affect me? I don't care at all, right? My money doesn't increase or decrease. Doesn't change. My real income doesn't change. It would not be affected by the price change of ice cream, something I don't eat at all. Okay, so when this is zero, which means there's no income effect. So understand what I'm talking about, okay? The effect per dollar, and this would be the size of the cut of your real income. Alright? Price effect, substitution effect, income effect. Now you understand what yeah, please. The increase in price will make you healthier, richer or poorer, right? Because the budget line rotates inward, okay? So you feel poor by the increase of price, okay? Any question here? So you see, the Marshallian is about P1, P2, and Y. But the Hixian is about P1, P2, and U bar. Nice. So this is the Hixian. This would be Marshallian. Compensated, uncompensated. Alright. And actually, you don't have to care too much about this because it's simple. You just do something, do some manipulation so that we may derive what? Derive elasticity thing here. But actually, I would say here is the key. You just understand this equation. You don't have to do this. But if someday someone asks you about how do you express the price effect, price effect, substitution effect, and income effect using elasticity, I think it's not difficult to you. I would not say it's too difficult for you because you just change this by the percentage change, right? You just put something to make them in percentage change. All right. And similarly, so what about this equation? Let's have a look at this one. So it's about, we are talking about the price effect, but now this time it's a cross effect because we want to analyze how Q1 responds to the change in the increase of Q2, of P2, sorry, of P2. The price of another or the other commodity. So another thing which becomes more expensive, and what about Q1? So this is the price effect and substitution effect again looks very similar actually the same, but with the condition of requiring what? The consumer to stay on the same indifference curve. And how to interpret the last term. You see the last one, which is minus Q2 star and Q1 Y. So the income effect, what's the difference between this and this? We have the same term here. So per $1 increase of our income and how Q1 respond, right? So this is the effect of per $1. And now this time, why here we have a negative sign with Q2 star? P2 increase. Yeah, because the change is in P2 rather than in P1, right? So now P2 is $1 more expensive. Is $1 higher. So your real income will be cut by the quantity of Q2, by the quantity of commodity 2, right? Because the change, the source of the change comes from P2. So P1 remain constant and your real income will be cut by Q2 star. Is that clear? So I hope you may understand the logic behind the problem. All right? Any other question? If not, let's proceed. Cost of living adjustment. Okay, Consumer Price Index. Have you ever heard this term, CPI? Consumer Price Index. 消费者物价指数，听过吧？哈 You must learn this term somewhere. 消费者物价指数 CPI, Consumer Price Index, measure the cost of a standard bundle of goods. Usually we call it market basket, to compare prices over time. So what about the price level, say 50 years ago with nowadays? If you want to compare something, alright, let me give you an example. Now, for example, if you, after your graduation, and you find a job making a salary of say $50,000. Okay? So now per month, your monthly salary is $50,000. Not bad, right? 1 块, not bad. $50,000. What about $50,000 50 years ago? If you may earn this much salary, you think you're rich or not? You're pretty rich, right? Because you can imagine that the price level 50 years ago is kind of low as compared with nowadays, right? So we need to what? To adjust so that we may compare how good we are, how well our living standard as compared to our parents or even our grandparents. Okay, we need to make some adjustment. So we need CPI to adjust. And market basket. You just imagine how to measure our living standard. So for our daily life, well, what kind of things would you want to buy food, clothes, transportations. You may want to buy cars, automobiles, or something like that. And amusement, you want to going to see a movie or to have fun. All right? So 食衣住行娱乐, right? We may make a basket consists of this kind of things: food, clothes, and amusement, transportation, right? So make it a basket. And with this basket, it's just like a width of the prices. So let's have a look at this. So for example, in 2012, dollars was the cost of a McDonald's hamburger in 1955. So the price of a burger at that time in 1955, it divided by the CPI for 1955 and times the CPI for 2012, it would be nowadays price. So at that time, say a McDonald's burger cost you 15 cents, but you need to do some adjustment by the CPI. So this is the CPI for 1955, and this is the CPI for 2012. So after the adjustment, you see, oh, it's 1.29. What? All right. So in 2012, the hamburger cost you $1.29, but as compared with the hamburger price in 1955 is just 15 cents. All right? So the difference is quite large. And CPI in the first year is the price, say clothes, C represents clothes and F represents food. So PC1, PF1, here 1 means the first year, period 1, okay, year 1. And C1, F1 is the quantity on clothes and food. And this would be the expenditure in year 1. What about the CPI in the second one? So you see Y2 is the price of clothes in year 2, the price of food in year 2, but we use the quantity in year 1, C1, F1. This is because we choose the first year to be the base year. All right? So CPI, we need to choose or to fix the quantity in the basket in some specified year. Okay? So here, if we choose the first year to be the base period, 基期. Have you ever heard this term? Base period. If we choose some year to be the base period, and this Y2 would be the cost of buying the first year's bundle in the second year. So using the second year prices to buy the bundle in the first year. That's the basic logic to construct CPI. So the rate of inflation, I think there may be something wrong on your slide. So on the numerator should be year 2 and the denominator should be year 1. So Y2 over Y1 would be the rate of inflation. Okay? Because period 1 is the base period. Alright, let us check the top 10 highest grossing movies of all times in the US. This is the ranking without adjustment. So the grossing means the ticket revenue. So how much money you earn from those movie watchers. And the champion would be Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. 原力觉醒, The Force Awakens. Do you know this movie? This movie makes the highest grossing. And this movie was in 2015. And the second one, Avengers 复仇者 Endgame. So what's the Chinese name of the movie? Spider-Man No Way Home. Avatar. Avatar, right? Avatar. Black Panther. Yes. Avenger Infinity War. Yes. 无限之战 Titanic. You jump, I jump. Titanic. In 1997. Okay? Jurassic World. Yeah, Jurassic World. 侏罗纪世界 in 2015. And the Avengers. 复仇者联盟, right? 2012. And Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi. So it's 2017. So this is the ranking. This is ranking the top 10 highest grossing without adjustment. However, if we adjust the grossing with CPI, something different. Gone with the Wind. Do you know this movie? Gone with the Wind. 乱世佳人 yet. Gone with the Wind. Have you ever heard that? It's from a novel, 飘. Gone with the Wind. So it's 1939. The movie was in 1939, okay? And the second would be, Star Wars, but Episode 4, A New Hope. It was in 1977. The Sound of Music. Do you know The Sound of Music? No. The Sound of Music. Though a deer, a female deer, Ray, a drop of a golden song. Me and them, I call myself. Do you know this song? The Sound of Music, 真善美. 1965. E.T. E.T. Phone Home. 外星人, okay? By Steven Spielberg. The Extraterrestrial. Number 5, Titanic. Okay, Titanic. Titanic is really good. From number 7 to number 5, Titanic. The 10 Commandments. Yes, 十诫, 10 Commandments. It was in 1956. Jaws. Yes. How do you know it is? How do you know that? Jaws, 大白鲨, yeah. And the music was so impressive because there's only 2 tones. Dun, 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 dun. So the sharp counts. All right, Jaws and Dr. Chivago. 齐瓦克医生. Have you ever heard this? Dr. Chivago it was in 1965, and the exorcist, 大法师, right? Exorcist, and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. 1937.